I never thought I'd be the kind of man sitting on a couch at 3 in the morning, staring at the diamond ring I saved for months to buy, wondering if the woman I gave it to ever really loved me at all. But here I am, and the strange thing is, if you asked me even 2 days ago, I would have told you I was one of the happiest men alive. My name's Daniel. I'm 26 years old, and 6 months ago, I proposed to my girlfriend, Emily. She's 23, beautiful in a quiet, disarming way, with the kind of laugh that can turn a bad day into a good one. When she said yes to me, I felt like I had just won something no money could ever buy. We've been together a little over 2 years, long enough to move past the early awkward stage, long enough to see the little quirks that irritate and the little kindnesses that make you stay. Our friends joked we were that stable couple, the ones who weren't dramatic or messy, and honestly, I wore that like a badge of honor. I thought it meant we were strong, built to last. But strength doesn't matter much when the foundation is cracked. And last night, I found out the cracks weren't small. They were the kind that bring down entire buildings. It started innocently. I couldn't sleep, so I got up to grab a glass of water. Emily was still awake, talking to the phone. At first, I didn't think twice about it. She often talked to her sister late at night. But as I walked past the bedroom door, I heard my name. I do love Daniel, she said, her voice soft but heavy. He's safe. He's good to me. But it's not the same. Not like it was with Mark. I don't feel that passion anymore. Not with him. I love him, but not in that way. My feet froze. My chest tightened. It felt like someone had reached inside me and ripped something out. I hadn't meant to eavesdrop. God, I wish I hadn't. But those words drilled into me, louder than any scream. Mark, her ex. The same ex who had cheated on her, broken her trust, shattered her heart. She had told me all about him when we first started dating, how toxic he was, how much pain he caused, how relieved she was to finally be free of him. I was the opposite of Mark. Steady, kind, reliable. That's what she had said she needed. That's who I thought she wanted. But in that one moment, I realized what I actually was to her. The safe choice. The backup plan. The man she could build a life with because the one she really wanted had burned her too badly to ever go back. I stood there in the hallway like a ghost. She walked out the bedroom and saw me. Her face drained of color, her mouth opening like she wanted to explain, but what explanation could there be? I asked her, my voice shaking. So I'm the safe choice? Not the love of your life? Her eyes filled with tears instantly. She started crying, whispering, "It's not like that. I swear I love you." But I didn't hear much after the words, "not like him." My head was roaring, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. I turned away, left her standing there, and sank onto the couch. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just sat there staring at the ring, thinking about how I thought it was a symbol of forever, and now it just felt like a chain tying me to a lie. She eventually went to bed, still crying. I stayed awake, replaying her words over and over. Safe, good, but not passion. Not like Mark. And the more I thought about it, the more the memories began to twist. Her smile when we first met, was it really for me? Or just relief that I wasn't him? The times she said, "I love you," were they confessions or reassurances to herself that she was moving on? The way she avoided certain songs, certain places, certain names. Was she protecting herself from pain or protecting me from the truth? Suddenly, so many little things began to look different in hindsight. Like the time we ran into an old college friend of hers and they brought up Mark. She laughed it off, but I noticed the way her hands fidgeted with her bracelet, the way her eyes darted away from me. Or the night we watched a movie with a cheating storyline and she was unusually quiet and holding on to me like she was afraid I'd disappear if I let go. I thought she was healing. I thought I was helping her heal. But maybe I was just filling the space where someone else used to live. And now I can't stop asking myself the same question over and over. If she still measures me against him, if she still thinks of passion when she thinks of Mark, then what am I to her? When I first met Emily, it was a rainy evening at a friend's birthday party. I remember she walked in late, her hair damp from the storm, her cheeks flushed from running across the street. She looked around the crowded room, and when her eyes landed on me, she smiled politely. Not flirtatiously, not like she was hunting for attention, but politely. It was the kind of smile you give a stranger when you're just trying to be kind. I told myself it meant nothing, but I still caught myself replaying that smile on the ride home. Over the next few weeks, we ran into each other more often. Group dinners, game nights, study sessions that turned into late night conversations. I liked how easy it was to talk to her. There was no pressure, no games. She was funny, but in a self deprecating way, the kind of humor that made you feel comfortable enough to laugh with her rather than at her. She told me about her past slowly, in fragments. Her ex, Mark, came up in those conversations, but always as a warning sign. He wasn't good to me, she said once, staring down at her coffee. I lost myself with him. I never want to go back to that. I nodded, promising silently that I would never treat her the way he did. I didn't want to be Mark. I wanted to be better. And for a long time, I thought I was. She seemed grateful for the little things, the good morning texts, the way I remembered her favorite tea, the way I stayed up with her during exam week. She'd look at me sometimes with this softness in her eyes that made me believe I was helping her heal. And maybe I was. Or maybe I was just putting a bandage over a wound that never truly closed. There were moments, though, small, quiet moments that should have made me wonder. Like the time I surprised her with a weekend trip to the mountains. She was excited, grateful, kissed me hard and long. But later, while we were hiking, I caught her staring off into the distance with this faraway look. I asked what she was thinking about. She hesitated before answering, just memories, nothing important. Or the time we went to a concert and the band played a song she once told me she used to dance to with Mark. She went still beside me, her hand tightening in mine. She smiled quickly, tried to brush it off, but I felt the weight of it. I convinced myself it was normal. Everyone has a past, right? Everyone has memories they can't erase. I didn't want to be jealous, insecure, or controlling. So I buried the questions and focused on what we had in the present. But now, after hearing her words to her sister, those little cracks feel like earthquakes. Safe, good, not passion. It explains why sometimes her kisses felt mechanical, like a habit rather than a fire. Why sometimes she pulled away when I tried to hold her too long. Why the I love you sayings were steady, consistent, but lacked that trembling urgency people talk about. And it explains the lies. They weren't big lies, not at first. She once told me she was working late, but her friend later mentioned she had been at a bar with coworkers. Another time she said she had to cancel dinner because she wasn't feeling well, but then I saw on Instagram that she'd been out shopping with her sister. Small things. Things I brushed off because she always had an explanation and I trusted her. But now I wonder, were those really harmless? Or were they moments she just didn't want to be with me? Was I always second place in a race I didn't even know I was running? I keep replaying the conversation in my head. The way she said Mark's name, the way her voice softened with memory. She was comparing us, whether she meant to or not, and I lost. I want to be angry. I want to scream at her, throw the ring back, demand why she said yes if she knew I wasn't the one she burned for. But mostly I just feel hollow. Like I gave everything I had and it still wasn't enough. The night stretched into morning, and I sat on that couch until the sun started to rise. I watched the light creep across the floor, turning shadows into shapes, but nothing felt real anymore. My world was fractured. When Emily finally came out of the bedroom, her eyes were swollen from crying. She sat across from me, twisting her hands together, her voice trembling. Daniel, please, you have to understand. I do love you. What I said last night, it wasn't what it sounded like. I was just venting. I was talking to my sister about fear, about the past. You're not second place to me. You're everything. Her words should have comforted me, but instead they felt like smoke, insubstantial, impossible to hold. Because once you've heard the truth slip out of someone's mouth when they thought you weren't listening, it's hard to unhear it. I asked her, quietly, "Do you still love him?" She shook her head too quickly, too desperately. "No, I don't. He hurt me. I would never go back to him. What I had with him, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't real love. It was obsession. It was fire that burned me down. You're different. You're safe." Safe. There it was again. She said it like it was a good thing, like being safe should be enough. And maybe for some people it would be. But for me, I don't want to be safe. I don't want to be the man someone chooses because he won't hurt them as badly as the last guy. I want to be the man they can't imagine living without. We sat in silence for a long time. She cried. I stared at my hands. And in that silence, I realized something that broke me even more than her words the night before. I could stay. I could marry her. We could build a life together. She would be loyal, probably a good wife, maybe a good mother. We would have stability, we would have comfort. But deep down, I would always wonder, does she wish I were him? Does she miss that passion, that spark, even if it came wrapped in pain? I would never truly know, and that uncertainty would eat me alive. So I made a choice. I slipped the engagement ring off her finger while she sobbed, and I set it gently on the table between us. Her breath caught. "Daniel, please!" I shook my head. My voice cracked, but I forced the words out. "I love you. God, I love you so much, but I can't be the man you settle for. I deserve to be someone's first choice. And you deserve to figure out what you really want without me being your safety net." I walked out of that apartment with nothing but my keys and my wallet, and the sound of her crying behind me. And now, here I am, telling this story, wondering if I'll ever stop hearing those words in my head. I love him, but not in that way. Maybe one day I'll find someone who doesn't compare me to a ghost, someone who looks at me with fire in their eyes, not relief in their sighs, someone for whom I'm not just safe, but irreplaceable. Until then, I'll carry this lesson with me. Being safe is not enough. Being loved halfway is not enough. We all deserve to be chosen fully, completely, without hesitation. And if you're ever in doubt about where you stand in someone's heart, listen closely. The truth has a way of slipping out when people think you're not listening.